Huo Huo has been out for a few days now in Honkai Star Rail, and it has been an amazing healer character for a lot of players. Now, I do have, my own thoughts on, how good I think she is when comparing her to the upper, echelon of healers, but I'll end up saving that for another video. Today, we are going to look at the best teams for Huo Huo. And normally when I do my team building videos, I focus on the different roles that characters on her team can play, and what teams are going to be the best suited for her, or best suited for whatever character I'm talking about. But I think for healer and sustainer characters, I'm going to start just giving a couple of team comp options instead, because realistically with most healers and sustain characters, you can pretty much run them with anyone as long as their sustain is good, because at that point you really just need damage dealer, support, debuffer, all that kind of fun stuff. So yeah, I'm going to talk about 2 team comps today, and definitely stick around for the second one, because I do think that the second one is more like universally applicable and is going to work more for a lot of players. So starting out here with the first team comp, it's going to be the Dot team. Yeah, mainly run with Kafka, so you do need to have Kafka for this, so if you didn't pull her, then it is a lot harder to run this kind of team, because Kafka makes the DOT team just work extremely well. And I also did put Sampo and Guinaifen in here, because they are the 2 best DOT appliers outside of Kafka for 4 stars. Now, I'm still kind of building up my Guinaifen, so I don't have my full thoughts yet on if I think she's better than Sampo, but I'll probably end up making a video about that at some point in the future, hopefully near future, if I can get some good relic rolls for my Guinaifen. But yeah, both of them are just very good at putting on their DOT and then increasing the amount of damage that the enemy will take from the DOTs, whether it be from DOTs specifically like Sampo, or just damage in general from Guinaifen. And having Huo Huo on these teams will be very good, because you're going to be able to increase their attack, increase the team's attack and energy with Huo Huo's ultimate, and by doing so, increasing their attack, that's going to increase the amount of DOT damage that they're going to be able to do, since it scales mainly off of attack for damage over time, rather than doing crit rate crit damage like regular DPSs do. So because Huo Huo is able to increase their attack for their ultimate as well as increase their energy, you'll have more chances to use their ultimates, which both Guinaifen and Sampo, their ultimates are huge in putting on the the thing that's going to make their DOTs do more damage. So that's going to be something that's very solid for them. And then Kafka, being the the best DOT character in being able to also detonate other DOTs that are on enemies and not just her own. So a very solid cast here overall. I probably wouldn't recommend running all 3 of them together. I'd probably recommend some kind of a debuffer type of character, or a buffer that will specifically raise attack. But I think right now with the way the buffers are in the game, I would probably recommend more so a debuffer, Silverwolf or Pela for this comp. Then for the other team comp, which I think this is a lot more universally applicable, and I kind of just chose some characters as a kind of outline for this team comp. It's going to be your standard hyper carry team comp, where you're going to have a DPS character, which I have Jing Liu in that slot, but there's plenty of DPSs you can use. You have Blade, you have Imbiber Lune, or even some 4-star options if you're using Dan Heng, using Su Shang, early game type of DPSs, you can run them as that slot. Then you want to have some kind of a buffer as well, whether that is Bronya, Ting Yun, Asta, Yukong, these Harmony characters. And then you want to maybe either you want to have a debuffer, or maybe some kind of support. For here I put Pela. You can also run Silverwolf as a debuffer. You can run even Welt as a kind of debuff support kind of character with his slowdowns. So you do have some options there, and I think this is just really good because, for one, Huo Huo once again being able to increase the energy and attack of allies with her ultimate does give her a little bit of a harmony boost. So adding on to the damage bonuses that your dedicated support is going to be able to give. But then also you can really just build your team depending on skill point usage as well. If I were to run this exact team right here with Jing Liu, Bronya, Pela, and Huo Huo, there's actually there could be a bunch of skill points around for Bronya to be able to use her skill basically every turn, since Huo Huo, I'm pretty sure, is skill point neutral. And then Jing Liu doesn't use too many skill points, and Pela doesn't have to use her skill in a lot of situations, so that will leave a lot of skill points on the table. So, since Huo Huo is, pretty skill point neutral, you can kind of play around with it. If you have a character that's more skill point, heavy, then running characters with them that don't use as many skill points will end up being really helpful. And I think just being able to have that kind of flexibility with Huo Huo is very good. Because if you have a healer that's going to rely on using their skill a lot, kind of like, I feel like Lynx will probably end up using her skill a lot more, just because of the added utility for destruction and preservation characters. But for a character like Huo Huo, not using her skill that much, with her having like kind of passive heals at the start of each ally's turn, is also very strong. So yeah, pretty much just being able to have this kind of flexibility for teams is very helpful. And I do think it's a very good quality to have, especially after Embobber Lune came out, because, I've always been someone who really just likes consistency when it comes to characters. And when, testing him out, I realized right now, because there's not any skill point regeneration characters, but at this point in the game, we're going to get Hanya in like a couple weeks now. But they're not being anything from when he launched to right now when I'm recording this. It's definitely made him very inconsistent, and I do think that kind of character in the game is going to be a huge benefit for so many characters that use like a good amount of skill points. But yeah, overall, I do think Huo Huo is very good. Running her on these kind of teams will also be very helpful. But yeah, let me know down in the comments down below, what team are you running with your Huo Huo if you have her? I'm definitely interested to see what people are running as well. I haven't done as much testing as I would have liked to with her. I've had a busy few days, but I do want to do some more testing before I give my full thoughts on how good she is as a healer. But with that, everyone, I'm going to end it off here. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed, definitely be sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe to the channel, and ring that notification bell. But with that, I will see you all next time.